Hello everyone, this is Mora Camila speaking to you. The purpose of this video is to take a look at the differences between the present simple and the present continuous. We recognized that there were some strong areas that you had. One of them is the use of the verb to be. You were able to recognize when to use it and with what subjects to use it. So that's very good. And there are also some weak areas that we need to improve. And those are the uses of the present simple and continuous and the grammatical rules. What is different for each tense? So let's see. Present simple. When to use it? We will be describing three different uses. The first one is related to habits and routines. For example, my family and I always play Scrabble on Friday night. That is a routine. That is something that we always do. Notice how the adverbs of frequency go before the action. For example, always, sometimes, never, barely, often, and regularly go before play. My family and I always play Scrabble. My family and I never play Scrabble. The second use of the present simple is permanent situations or facts. For example, the earth goes round the sun. That is something that is true. That is something that is always going to happen. Therefore, a fact. The second example is I have two sisters and one brother. That is a permanent situation, or at least it is in the near future. The third use is related to timetables and schedules. So when we have a schedule or a time, we will be using the present simple. For example, the hockey match starts at 2 p.m. this Sunday. We have English at 8 o'clock till 9:30. Or the train departs from the station at noon. All of those expressions, 2 p.m. this Sunday, 8 o'clock till 9:30, and at noon, are expressions that are related to timetables and schedules. What about the present continuous? When to use it? The first use of the four that we're going to be looking is related to something that is happening right now. For example, it's raining and my dog is getting wet outside. Wait, my cell phone is ringing. At present, I'm studying architecture. Here we have some expressions that will help us to recognize if we have to use the present continuous or if those actions are happening right now. Those expressions could be at present, today, right now, or at the moment. If we have those expressions, we know that we have to use the present continuous. The second use of the present continuous is temporary situations happening during a period of time. For example, my sisters are taking ballet lessons this semester. That is something that is only happening during this period of time because maybe next semester they won't be taking those lessons. Second example, we are reading a great novel in English. Also, that is something that is happening in a particular class during a particular time. Third example, coronavirus is spreading all over the globe. Sadly, that is something that is happening right now during this period of time. The third use of the present continuous is describing annoying actions. An annoying action is something that someone else does that we don't like. For example, you're always interrupting me, it's unpleasant. He's driving me crazy with his questions. So every time that we have this type of behavior, we're going to be using the present continuous. And the fourth use is related to social arrangements in the future. We can also use the present continuous to talk about things that will happen in the future. For example, I'm seeing my dentist tomorrow evening. Where are you meeting your friends tonight? They are not going to the party next Saturday. Here we have expressions like tomorrow evening, tonight, next Saturday that help us to see that these actions are going to happen in the future. Therefore, we use the present continuous. Okay, so the grammatical rules of the present simple. First, we're going to be looking at the subjects I, you, we, and they. So here we have three sentences. The first one is an affirmative one. It says, I play soccer with my friends after school every Monday. Here, as you can see, the verb stays the same. We don't change it. So I could say, I play soccer, you play soccer, we or they play soccer, and the verb doesn't change. In the case of negative sentences, what we do is that we add don't in front of the verb. So we don't live in Valdivia because it's very cold, for example. In the case of questions, what we do is that we start with the word do, followed by the subject and the verb. For example, do they listen to the same bands as us? So, what is going to happen then for the subjects he, she, it? Here we have three examples. The first one is an affirmative sentence and it says he starts school at 7:45 every day. So what we do is that we add an S to the verb. In the case of negative sentences, we add doesn't before the verb and the verb goes without S. For example, she doesn't take the bus to school, her mother drives her to school. There, the verb doesn't change because the S rule, is only going to happen in the affirmative sentences. And for questions, we add does at the beginning, followed by the subject and the verb. That also goes without S. For example, does the dog sleep in your house? The verb sleep doesn't have any modification. We don't do anything to the verb in the case of negative sentences and in questions. We just said that for subjects he, she, it, in affirmative sentences in present simple, we needed to add an S. So the question is, do I just add an S to all the verbs? No, there are some rules. For most of the verbs, you're going to do just that, add an S. For example, lives, shops, drinks, takes, sleeps. However, when you have verbs ending in double S, CH, SH, X, or O, you're going to add ES. For example, kisses, misses, watches, finishes, fixes, goes, and does. When you have a verb that ends in a consonant and a Y, you're going to add IES. In this way, fly will become flies, try tries, cry cries. There are also some exceptions which are irregular verbs, and the most important one is have. That is going to change for has in he, she, it subjects. So I would say she has two brothers or he has a dog. Now we will be looking at the present continuous and how to use it. This is fairly simple. What you do is that you have a subject that is followed by the corresponding verb to be, and after that you have a verb that will be ending in ing. So here we have examples. The first two are affirmative sentences. I'm playing with my cousins next weekend. I'm reading a book right now that's really good. So we have the subjects, I, the verb to be, am, and then we have the verbs play and read with ing, playing and reading. In the case of negative sentences, what we do is that we add not after the verb to be. So she's not living in Chile right now, or my parents are not working today. In questions, what we do is that we are going to flip the subject with the verb and we're going to start with the verb to be. So, are your parents working this week? Are you having a class at 10 a.m.? Is she living in Chile? Are your parents working? Etc. And what happens with the adverbs of frequency is that they go after the verb to be and before the verb with ing. So let's practice. Here we have some examples that we took from the worksheet that you had to do. The first one says, my aunt, blank space, visit him at the moment. So here you really need to ask, is this a permanent state? Is this happening right now? Is this a routine, a fact, or a future plan? In this case, this is something that is happening right now. Therefore, the answer is my aunt is visiting him at the moment, because with things that are happening at the moment or temporary situations, we use the present continuous. Second example, our bus not drive to work. He usually takes the underground. Here we ask those questions. Is this happening right now? Is this a routine, a fact, a future plan, a permanent state, or an annoying action? In this case, this would be a routine. So our bus doesn't drive to work. He usually takes the underground. In the second part of the example, we have today the underground is on strike. So he drive to work. In this case, is this something happening right now, a routine, a fact, a future plan, a permanent state, or an annoying action? This would be something happening right now. Therefore, he is driving to work. So that's it. I hope that was very clear. We also have some writing tips for you, and they are related to the use of capital letters. Remember that names, cities, countries, brands such as Apple, Samsung, or whatever, languages, months, and days of the week always go with capital letters. I hope that this was useful to you. If you have any questions, you can ask any of us and we can help you understand better. Thank you.